Without a revenue model, you stay small forever and it becomes a hobby. Fundraising is about storytelling. There's a million causes. Why yours over something else? That's the biggest mistake most entrepreneurs make. I'm here with Nat C. Jones from Nat Said That. You're going to love this episode.
Hey everybody, this is Nat C. Jones with Nat Said That, and I am here. I'm so excited to introduce to you Evan Carmichael. He is an entrepreneur expert. So I am so excited. I have to tell you guys why Evan Carmichael is so special to me. This is his first time seeing me, but I have been watching him for over 2 years. Evan, this is your first time hearing this. You got to hear this. I worked for the city of Orlando government for about 6 years, and I was like depressed. Going to work every day, working like 60 hours a week. I had 2 babies and a husband, overworked, qualified for certain positions, not getting promoted, all that jazz, right? And one day I was like, I just need some motivation. I just searched motivation and I came across all of these thumbnails that were like yellow and black. Of course, they popped, which was brilliant because there's a lot of white and red on YouTube. And I just started like overdosing on these videos, the top 10 rules for success videos. And it was brilliant. Like, you literally have solved the problem of the people that don't get access to greats, you know what I mean? Successful people. You just solved that problem with the internet. We can reach anybody. So I literally just brainwashed myself. I watched those videos over and over and over with my little headphones while I was working at work. And it did something to me. It transformed the way that I thought. And when it was time for me to make that step into entrepreneurship, which I had kind of dabbled with off and on for years, but I was ready for full time, I was not afraid. And so I can say for the past year and a half, I've been a full-time entrepreneur.
Nice.
Thank you. I am a master facilitator and certified life coach, and I target women and girls, and I work with them consistently. So thank you so much. You are really the main reason that I'm a full-time entrepreneur right now. And I want everybody to know I'm in Orlando, Florida. He's in Toronto, Canada. There is no excuse, okay? All right.
I love it. Well, thank you. Thank you for that warm intro. I love it.
When did you know that you were an entrepreneur, or how did you know?
So I think growing up, I had a lot of entrepreneurial tendencies. My first dime I made when I was 5, and I recruited my younger sister, and we drew some pictures, and I sold it to my neighbor. And then growing up, I did baseball cards and garage sales and that kind of stuff. But also, I'm how old am I? I am 39 now.
Uh-oh.
I had to look at the year. I also had to look at the year. So I'm 39, and growing up, entrepreneurship wasn't a thing. My parents were entrepreneurs.
Right.
It wasn't a career path to be an entrepreneur. You had to be super crazy to be an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. So I thought I wanted to be a banker, even though I had a lot of entrepreneurial tendencies. In my high school yearbook, it says, "Where are you going to be in 10 years?" I said, VP at some bank. So I didn't actually know until I became an entrepreneur in university and joined the company and was making $300 a month and owned 30% of this business. And that's when I just needed to know. I didn't know if it was going to work out. I actually thought it wasn't going to work out because most businesses don't work out. Mm-hmm. I'd rather know and fail than not know.
Right.
And so going through that experience, I never went and got a job again. So I did it.
Well, yes, you did. You really did it. What do you think is the best part about being an entrepreneur, and what's the scariest part, if you had to kind of warn would-be entrepreneurs out there?
I think the reason you get into entrepreneurship has to be strong that you're moving towards something, not away from something. Hating your job is not a good enough reason. Having a bad boss is not a good enough reason. Having toxic people around you in your workplace means you should get out of that, but that's not the reason to go be an entrepreneur, because you're going to work harder as an entrepreneur than you will
yes
in a job. Yes, you get to set the rules and you get to decide what you want to do, but if you're only in it because of freedom, that's the wrong reason. You have to be in it because you want to make an impact. Mm-hmm. You have to want to serve. I believe that humans are built to serve. I think it's in all of us. I think it's hardwired into us. And that, how do you serve? Well, your purpose comes from your pain. That the thing that you struggled with the most in life, whatever the most painful moment of your life was, helping other people not go through the same thing that you went through will be the thing that will fill you up for life and will never get old. Mm-hmm. And so that's the thing that people need to find. I love helping entrepreneurs because I struggled so much as an entrepreneur. So I want to now pay it forward and help others. And that's everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to figure out what's the going to that you're creating, not the moving away from, and then how you're going to serve. And if you do that, you'll have success. I think most entrepreneurs, when they get started, they're doing it for the wrong reasons because they just don't like their job.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're just chasing an opportunity. They don't actually love the thing, but this is a hot thing to do in 2019, 2020, 2021. So that's what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't love that thing, you're going to lose. So that's the biggest mistake most entrepreneurs make.
I agree with that totally. I don't know if you found this, but I found all of my life. What I'm doing now has kind of been happening all of my life. Like there have been girls drawn to me, women drawn to me, and I went through struggles because of being a female, self-esteem issues and things like that were really traumatic. And then all of a sudden there are these people that are drawn to me, and I thought it would just be a hobby. Like there's no way for me to make money, helping people. But it was consuming all of my life. Do you find that a lot of entrepreneurs need to kind of pay attention to those dots that need to be connected? Like, who are the people showing up to you? Who are you drawing to yourself to know what it is they're supposed to be doing?
Yeah, it's interesting you said that because I'm writing a new book about finding your purpose and turning into a business. Mm-hmm. And then I included the last chapter on how to make money. Mm-hmm. Because I think a lot of people feel icky or nasty about trying to, I just love helping these people, so I can't charge for this. Mm-hmm. I think it actually is selfish not to charge for it. I think it becomes your obligation that you have to charge for it. Not to everybody. I think there'll always be a percentage, if it's 10% or 20% of people who get in for free because they can't afford it. But if you don't learn how to make money from your purpose, then it will always be a hobby. And you'll always have to do a full-time job to then support your hobby. Mm-hmm. Where if you actually made it a business and learned how to make money doing it, serving people in an ethical, life-changing, positive way, then you can reach more people. Mm-hmm. You can build a team. You can scale up. Now, instead of as a hobby, you can hit 10 women a month.
Wow.
Hobby. But if you have a business and now you're building a team of amazing women who all want the same thing, maybe now you're reaching millions of women.
Wow.
So I think it's your responsibility to turn that into something that then can create a ripple effect greater than just a hobby on the side.
I like that because I found in the journey of becoming an entrepreneur, you have to almost tackle some core beliefs that you have that have kind of held you back, especially concerning when it comes to women making money. It's like, it's a no-no, Mm-hmm. And then I'm involved in the church community, and then that's like, no, you do everything for free. And I had to really break that down to see, why is it wrong for me to have money? And if I don't, it's like a constant struggle for me to even get anything done. But I feel like such a good person, but I'm not really impacting anybody. So
I think I'd like to tell people that money needs to be in your top 5. It just can't be number 1.
Okay.
People who have money, number 1, they actually don't even make money. The people who are only in it to make money never make long-term money. You look at the people you look up to, respect, entrepreneurs who've made it. They want it. There's a mission. There's a purpose. Mm-hmm. That's first. Mm-hmm. But even if you're a church, you have to make money. Like if your church doesn't make money, you don't have a church.
That's true.
So I think people have an unhealthy view on money. Some people think money is everything growing up. It's not. Like, is it taught by their parents and community and culture? Money is this next person walk into your coaching practice. That's my next suit. That's my next car.
Right.
It's over. Like that's the wrong mindset. Right. But then other people think money is the root of all evil.
Evil. Yeah.
It's not. It's a tool. It's important. You need it.
Yeah.
Right. So money has to be in your top 5. You need to figure out a way to make money. Otherwise, you're working some job you hate for the rest of your life. It just can't be number 1. There has to be something above it, and that's your purpose, your mission, what you're chasing down.
The Bible doesn't say that money is the root of all evil. It says actually that it answers all things, but the love of money, making it number 1, as he said, that's where the problem comes in. So you need it, and it needs to be a tool, not your master. Okay, so this is a question I've always wondered, and I think you kind of answered it earlier. Do you feel like some people that entrepreneurs are born? I know you said that everybody has it in us to serve, but do you think there's some people that are just more prone or more gifted or more capable when it comes to achieving entrepreneurship?
So I think everybody has what I call Michael Jordan level talent at something.
Okay.
If you go religious, everybody's a child of God. You were created. You are beautiful. You should be making something amazing in the world.
Right.
You are not meant to be living this small life.
Right.
So if everybody has Michael Jordan level talent at something, for some people that's being an entrepreneur. For others, it might be being a teacher in the school system, right? It could be many things. How do you find it? Well, you need to explore. You need to taste. You need to test. Just like you found my videos, you were searching for motivation and you found them, and then you're like, I like this. And then you dove into it. A lot of times you can't think your way through these things, because chances are the thing that you should be doing is very different than what is in your family and in your circle. Most of the time, the thing that you should be doing with your life is very different than what your parents did, or what your brothers or sisters or cousins or community or church people there are doing. Yeah. And so it takes courage to go off and do it. Right? If you're working with women who have a belief system of, well, women are supposed to be this way, but then they know that, like, I don't want to be that. I'm greater than that. I know I'm greater than that. Right? Yeah. To have the courage to chase that dream down, I think, is important. And that's where I think people like you are a voice. One of my favorite stories of all time is, I don't know if you ever watched Star Trek, the original Star Trek. Yeah. With Lieutenant Uhura. Uh-huh. So Lieutenant Uhura was third in command on the starship. And at the time was crazy, because there was Captain Kirk, and then Spock, and then Uhura. That was the order. And no woman had ever been in that kind of position of power, let alone a black woman on TV at that time, right? Black women were maids and servers and nothing, right? So Lieutenant Uhura, she signed up for 1 year, and Gene Roddenberry, the executive producer, put her on and said, hey, I want you to be in this role. And after a year, she said, I want to go back to Broadway. That's where I started. I don't want to do TV anymore. I want to do Broadway. I had to quit the show. And then Martin Luther King came and paid her a visit. And he said, what you're doing for this community is too important for you to quit and go to Broadway. You have to stay on this show, because people are watching and they see this black woman in a position of power. You have to stay. And so she stayed for another 5 years, or however long the series ran. And then Whoopi Goldberg, famous actress now and on The View, and won awards. She remembers when she was young, she watched Uhura on TV and said to her mom, mommy, there's a black woman on TV and she ain't no maid. Yeah. Right? And it inspired her to become an actress. Right? And so you're in Orlando. I'm here in Toronto, right? There's the excuses are being squashed. Yeah. Whatever it is that you want to do, somebody has done it. And so surrounding yourself with it, quieting the voices that are around you, as well as quieting your own inner voice to your talk about belief systems, and just seeing, well, if this person could do it, why can't I? Right. And that little seed of hope, just that little seed of, like, you know what, like, maybe I can. Maybe I can do something more than work at the government for the rest of my life, right? Like, it could happen. Something more, right? Yeah. And then that opens up a whole new world. And then the more you surround yourself with it, like, people watching, if they love watching Nat C. Jones, right? Yeah. If that's the thing, then great. There's more content that you can dive in. And even though you may never meet Nat in person, or maybe that becomes an ambition of yours in 2 years to do an interview. Of course. But having you in their life represents hope. That something more is possible. Anybody who's working at a corporate job or government job that they hate and then wants to go be an entrepreneur, you've done it. And I think taking the mantle, because it's easy to say, and I fell into this trap myself. Well, who am I? Right. Who am I? I'm profiling Steve Jobs and Oprah Winfrey and who am I to have a story, right? Like, it's easy to think, well, who am I? But the person who you were 5 years ago, you could go talk to that woman and give her some real advice and knowledge. And there's a lot of people who are like the woman you used to be. And so those people need you. Yeah. Right. And you, but like everybody watching, you're on your journey, and the willingness to try is an inspiration. Yeah. And so surrounding yourself with more people who are doing the thing that you want to do gives you the courage, the confidence, the hope, the belief that you can too. Yeah. So are you a born entrepreneur? Back to your question. I don't know. I don't think about it. It's more, you have Michael Jordan talent at something, and you have a responsibility to find it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the world's biggest problem is that lack of belief.
Yeah.
I think the woman who solves cancer could have already solved it right now, but
Mm-hmm.
instead she's an account manager at an accounting firm.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I have
Because somebody
a,
said you can't be a doctor, right?
yeah.
She never tried. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
I met a young lady yesterday. I had an event, a seminar called Lady Live for Women, and oh, it was epic. I met people online that showed up that I didn't even know, and one of the ladies there had kind of been following me, and she worked for like the IRS. She's like miserable.
Right.
If you look at her, her body is like perfection, right? So I looked at her, I said, "Are you a personal trainer? What's going on?" "Oh, I was a bodybuilder. I won all these competitions. I really want to, do fitness for women. And I feel like that's my passion." And so it turned into a relationship. She's now full-time. I walked her
Nice.
through the process with your book in hand. I was like, okay, so now you need to do this. And I told her about the book. But she's so full of life now. But what I remember, and she introduced me to another girl yesterday who was like, "You need to talk to Natalie because she helped me do my business." And I was like, whoa, that's not my calling. I gave her the book. I told her about the book. But what I continue to see in these women is fear. The fear is so, it's like, you can see it, you can smell it, you see it all in their faces. And I'm talking to her like about all the great things that can happen. All I saw was like this deer in the headlights. So what do you think the number one issue is from people taking the step, to keep people from taking the step into entrepreneurship? I've noticed fear, I've noticed distractions, laziness, and incompetence, but fear seems like to be the most potent of all. And how do you deal with that? Like, how do you encourage people to overcome that?
Yeah. So I don't think it's actually fear of failure.
No?
I think it's fear of failing in front of somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
It's judgment.
Yeah.
You might sing in the shower, but you're not going to sing on the street corner.
Yeah. That's
because
true.
you're afraid of how people will judge you.
Yeah.
And so it's not the fear to get started. It's the fear most often of what your mom's going to say, or your friends, or the people at your church, or whatever are going to say. And so people don't want to do it. Or some random person on the internet watching this video who just doesn't like red headbands and is going to come after you. Right? I mean, that happens.
Who doesn't like red headbands?
Listen, there's somebody. Right? People will hate you just because of their own insecurities.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with you. They'll make a judgment call right away based on their own history and insecurities, and you have to, face the brunt of that.
Yeah.
What I do for myself, and when I tell people I'm working with them, is fear is not an acceptable answer.
Mm-hmm.
What's the reason why you're not doing the thing you want to do? If the answer is fear or difficulty, it's not the answer. Because you do scary things. You want to do scary things.
Mm-hmm.
You're afraid of doing that thing, but if you don't have something in your calendar in the next month that makes you scared, you hate your life.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah.
Because you're just doing, when are you not scared? You're not scared when you're comfortable. You're not scared when you know what's coming up. So that means you're photocopying your day every day.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want that life.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that life. Like we want to grow. We're built to serve, and we want to grow. We want to learn. We want to take in new things. You want to. Nobody wants to just photocopy the same day over and over and over again. No. So that means you need to inject new things in. With anything new, there comes a dose of fear. And so you do scary things. Teach yourself. I have a test that you can steal or modify and use for your audience. I call it the boom, boom, boom test, which is when your heart is going boom, 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 it's a sign to go.
Yeah.
You try to catch it. Like if you're meeting with Nat and Nat says, "Hey, I think you should go create personal fitness videos or be a personal trainer," right? And if your heart's like going boom, 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 it's the right thing to do. You have to do it. To teach yourself.
That reminds me of Mel Robbins.
Okay.
I met Mel Robbins through you.
Okay.
My boo, and I've never seen her in person, but I love her, and I got her book about the 5-second rule. Oh my gosh, for procrastinators, it's like, you know what? All of the videos that I watched on your channel, they had me sounding like such an intellectual at my meetings with my clients and stuff. I remember I was having a boom, boom, boom moment, and I'm in the room. I'm the only Black female. Everybody's older than me. And it was one of those doors that opened. I'm like, how did I get in this room? But I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for my moment to shine so they could, they could say, okay, this is why she should be in this room. And there was like the CEO of SeaWorld, some other big wig guys in Orlando. And the issue was that they were trying to create a community plan without involving the community, of course. And so I'm brought in as the person who knows the community and the people in the community. And I remember Simon Sinek telling the story of Nelson Mandela. And I was like, ooh, I need to do the Nelson Mandela thing here. So I raised my hand and I chime in. I say, and I talked about Nelson Mandela. I said, he said his father was a great leader because of two things he remembers about his father. That, he was a tribesman. They all sat in a circle and he was always the last one to speak. And I talked about how if we're going to lead this community, we have to let them speak first because, oh my God, Evan, it was so good. I saw the CEO of SeaWorld. He was like, looking at me like that. He was so impressed and it began a relationship. I was present. I was there then. And so I was like, words are so important, and being able to connect with people that know more than you and then share that knowledge, it just gets you, it makes doors open for you that would have never opened before. And so I want to thank you for that as well, because you're making me sound really smart out here with these videos.
So listen, you've showered nothing but love and praise on me, and I appreciate it. So I'm half of 1% of your success.
Yes.
I will own, I crushed my half of 1%.
You did. You crushed it like grapes.
I did. I crushed it. Crushed it. I'm awesome. But it's only half of, like, you did all the work.
Yeah.
You're 99.5% of it, because you're the one typing it into YouTube. You're the one who's quitting your job. You're the one who has the courage to go through that door instead of say, what am I doing here? I don't belong here. Yeah. Right? To raise your hand when it's easy to be a mouse and be quiet and like, well, these people know more than me, right? Like, so I'll take my half of 1%, but I want you to own like how amazing you are for just getting up and doing it.
Thank you. Thank you. I really want to share with you what I'm working on now. I know we have like 2 minutes. So my background is nonprofit. I'm a nonprofit baby. Do-gooders that are, the ones that are always broke because they're always trying to do stuff for free and help people. But I have a nonprofit called the Community Life Improvement Center, and I established it back in 2015. I've kind of been just blindly, you know how it is when you don't know anything and you're trying to learn as you go. And I've made some strides. I have a branch of it. It's called the Click for Girls, where we inspire girls through faith, self-esteem, healthy relationships, and community awareness. And then that branched off into Lady Live, because I found out that the women who were volunteering to work with the girls had their own issues and their own needs. So I opened that up. And me being a certified life coach really helped with that. So now I have the Click for Girls, and I have Lady Live. And there became an issue that we didn't have a place to meet. We're always like going from community center to community center. And so I started a project called the Click House. And this is the biggest project I've ever done. And it's fundraising. And I know nothing about fundraising. Of course, in my mind, I'm like, all of my Facebook friends are going to give $10 and I'm going to have the money and I'm just going to buy the property. Do you have any advice? Because I know you're a venture capitalist. It's different, I know, than fundraising for a nonprofit. But do you have any advice for how I can
storytelling? It's all storytelling. Fundraising is about storytelling. There's a million causes. Why yours over something else? Why not go plant trees in Oregon? Like, there's lots of great. Why not clean up the oceans and get rid of plastic? And there's so many great causes. Why this over something else? It's the stories behind it. At the same time, though, I would honestly try to find a way to turn it in. I mean, it's the way I'm wired and I think, but I want to turn that into a business.
Okay.
So that you're not always asking for handouts and donations.
Yeah, that's hard. I hate it.
But you're making money. You're providing jobs and opportunities. Like maybe you create a venture capital fund for women to start businesses and get. There's a group I work with. There's a really crime infested neighborhood here. Young, lots of people on the street and lots of crime, and they're trying to get people off the street by starting their own business.
Right. That's a part of it. Yeah. I'm focusing on
invest in people, sell products, have the women go out on speaking tours, or you do speaking, right? It's like find a way to make it a revenue model.
Okay.
So that is sustainable.
Okay.
And that you're not always coming back asking for a handout. And this is the problem. Then you're struggling for where do we meet this week? And
yeah, it's hard.
Church it's because there's no revenue model attached to it. And so without a revenue model, you stay small forever and it becomes a hobby.
Yeah.
You attach a revenue model to it, you can hire a full-time director who's just running all of this. And then
I
you
really
get to
want
come
to do
in
that.
and just do what you're, of course. And then, and now maybe now becomes a national thing and not just your one little community, because how much Nat can do while she's doing everything else is going to be limited. The heart is overwhelming, but the ability to have an impact with Nat doing everything herself is going to be brutal. So you need to find a business model around it so that you can scale this to be an amazing, world-changing, female-run organization.
It's gonna be, and you know what? And I know we're out of time. That, I believe, is why I have these ladies now coming up to me about starting their business. And I'm thinking, that's not what I was doing. I'm trying to do something else. But you know what? That's a need, obviously. And they saw that I was able to do it. So I'm definitely gonna do that. Figure out a way to make some money doing it.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.